So today, we're going to break down a really powerful and often totally invisible form of manipulation. This isn't about yelling matches or obvious aggression. No, this is about the quiet, careful construction of self-doubt in someone's mind. Just think about that question for a second. Are you sure? It sounds so harmless, right? But that simple little phrase can be an incredibly powerful weapon to make you question your own reality, a lot of times without you even noticing it's happening. And that, right there, is the key. The whole goal for a manipulator isn't to win an argument with facts and figures. It's to make you doubt your own perceptions, your own memory. It's a really subtle but devastatingly effective tactic. So how do they actually pull this off? Well, it all starts with chipping away at your certainty. Think of your confidence like a solid brick wall. A manipulator isn't going to try to knock it down with a sledgehammer. No, they're going to find one tiny little crack and slowly, quietly, wedge it open until they can slip right in and take control. Yeah, this isn't just random, it's a strategy. There's literally a playbook of specific moves that are designed to take apart your confidence, piece by piece. So let's open it up and break down the 5 key tactics. All right, first up, this first move is maybe the sneakiest of them all, just because of how subtle it is. So here's the thing. They almost never come out and say, "You're wrong." Why? Because a direct accusation like, "That's not right," can be argued. You can pull out facts. Instead, a manipulator just sidesteps that whole confrontation and goes right for your certainty about what you're saying. And phrases like this, oh man, they are just so sneaky effective. They don't start a fight, they start confusion. They just plant this tiny seed of doubt that makes you turn inward and question yourself, which is exactly what they want. Okay, on to the second play from the book. This one is all about the performance, how the whole dynamic is built. I want you to picture this. The manipulator, they're totally calm, speaking slowly with this air of confidence. But you're starting to feel that little flicker of doubt, and it's starting to show. Maybe your voice gets a little shaky as you're trying to find the right words. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? The manipulator uses their calmness like a weapon. To anyone watching, they look like the reasonable, grounded one. They don't win the argument by being right. They win by sounding right. Their composure creates this totally false sense of authority. The third tactic, this one uses the simple but really powerful force of repetition. And again, it's not aggressive. They do it so casually, almost like it's no big deal. The manipulator will just consistently and calmly repeat their version of what happened, slowly and surely wearing down your own memory. By calling your memory emotional, they're basically saying it's unreliable, that it can't be trusted. And by repeating their version over and over, they're tapping into this little psychological trick called the illusory truth effect. It's where our brains actually start to think something is true just because we've heard it so many times. Your own memory starts to get crowded out by doubt. All right, this next one, it is a total trap. This is the point where the manipulator flips the whole script and puts the burden of proof completely on you. What this does is it's designed to back you into a corner and make you feel, well, kind of foolish. The manipulator turns the tables and they essentially put your own feelings, your own experiences on trial. So they'll hit you with questions like these and boom, all of a sudden you're scrambling, digging through your brain to find specific data points or exact quotes to justify something you simply felt. You're being asked to provide hard evidence for an emotional experience. And here is the absolute knockout punch. The thing is, emotions don't come with receipts. The second you take the bait and you actually try to prove your feelings, you've already lost. You've basically agreed that your internal experience isn't valid unless you can prove it to someone else. And that's an impossible standard to meet. So all of this stuff, the subtle questioning, the calm act, the repetition, the demanding proof, it's all leading to one single moment. It's the final move in the playbook. And this whole process, it's like a checkmate in chess. You're exhausted, you're confused, and so you do the one thing that feels like it will just make this awful internal conflict stop. You apologize. And you don't do it because you think you are wrong. You do it because you're just so tired of feeling like you're going crazy. And that apology, that's exactly what the manipulator was waiting for. When you say something like, "I might be wrong," you're basically handing over the keys. You are validating their version of events. Your apology becomes the official stamp of approval on their story, and their narrative is now the accepted reality. So look, just knowing this playbook exists is the first huge step. But the next step is knowing how to defend yourself. This is the counter playbook, because taking back your reality starts with understanding the game being played against you. And this really gets to the dark heart of it all. This isn't really about lying. The ultimate goal isn't to win one argument. It's to make the very idea of truth feel shaky, to make you dependent on their interpretation of what's real. Because when someone controls what you remember and what you question, they control you. So, what do? How do you fight back? Well, it all starts with trusting your own clarity. Your perception, that gut feeling, that is real data. It is valid all on its own, without needing some exhibit to prove it. Second, respect that perception. Don't just toss it aside because someone else calmly tells you a different story. And this is critical. Never apologize for what you experienced. You don't have to be sorry for your feelings or your memories. Just staying aware of these tactics is your shield. It's how you stay sovereign over your own mind. And we're going to leave you with that question. It's a really important one to ask yourself because you should be the only architect of your own reality. Stay aware.